Tyffanie with your host, Tyffanie Morgan.
Well, hello there, my little sweet peas, my little love muffins from all around the big blue world. This is your hostess, Miss Tyffanie Morgan, calling to you live from Kingston, Ontario, Canada, the home of limestone and the home to me, Miss Tyffanie Morgan. That's right, sweet peas. That is absolutely right. And I bring up my show notes? I didn't bring up my show notes at all. So, what is Breakfast with Tiffany? Well, it's a lovely little, little petit déjeuner of Tiffany Morgan, drag queen, gardening drag queen extraordinaire here in Kingston, Ontario. I've been performing in drag, doing the drag scene, being the drag queen for about I think it's been 22 years now. 22 years now, I believe. Since 2000, so that's 22, right? If I do my math correctly. Carry the one, and check the others. Sorry, Sweet Peas. As soon as I'm doing this live, I record this live from Sweet Pea Studios, aka my living room. And apparently, one of my friends don't know this because they were trying desperately to dial to me right now, and I'm like, I'm not answering. I'm not answering. And it looks like I have an active viewer right now. Yay! Thank you. I don't know what you messaged. I can't see it, but you're there. Thank you, sweet peas. So what do we do during this program here on CFRC 101.9 FM and on CFRC.ca and as a podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts? What do we talk about? We talk about whatever's going on in my little brain. That's what we talk about today. Oh. Okay, someone's sending pictures of bears waving. Oh, thank you. Today, what we're going to talk about is, feeling low. Hey, you know what? If we don't talk about, our mental health and stuff like that, who else is going to talk about mental health? And the kind support, gardening, tomato updates, plus lots of upcoming shows, including Tiffany's Secret Tea Party. Did I mention Tiffany's Secret Tea Party? Tiffany's Secret Tea. It's happening this Sunday, June the 12th, at the Secret Garden Inn by Argyle Place. I'm really looking forward to this. It's not a typical drag show. A friend of mine was like, well, that's still a drag show. And I'm like, well, I'm not... There's not going to be like a big old speakers that's blasting music that I'm going to be lip syncing to. That's not going to be happening. That's not going to be happening. In my mind, that's a drag show. That's not happening. But everything else, but on a more personal level, will be happening. And of course, I don't know if you can hear it, but my neighbor... The joys of live broadcasting. Where am I going with this? So yeah, you can book a table between 1 and 4. So it's staggered seating. So if you want to come for 1 o'clock for a table of 4, come on down. Make sure you make that reservation by calling 613-548-1081. That's 613-548-1081. And yeah, so if you want to come for 2, whatever, and I'll just be hosting, so I'll come by your table, say hello, see how things are going. If you want to go for like a little walk with me through the garden path, that's an option too. And yeah, so we'll pick brains, we'll talk tomatoes. Well, it'll be kind of like a breakfast with Tiffany, really, but a one-on-one. And you can ask me questions, whatever. It'll be a lovely evening. Sorry, not evening. It's not even an evening. It's the afternoon between 1 and 4 p.m. But let's just be honest. I'm a little nervous. Because I'm like, I've been doing drag shows, quote unquote, air quotes here, drag shows, you put on a song, you lip sync, you dance to it, whatever. That's bread and butter. That's bread and butter. This is something different. But many friends of mine have said, they're like, but this is what you do. This is what you do. You get on stage, you start talking about us, you start sharing a story. Audience members shout something out, you start replying back. You do this, but you're gonna be doing this on more of a one-on-one kind of basis. So, yeah, I'm excited and nervous and excited and nervous. So please come out to Tyffanie's secret tea party this. Not, not no walking out the door there sort of thing. So again, call 613-548-1081, and that's at the Secret Garden Inn by Argyle Place on Sydenham Street, right across from Sydenham Street United Church. I'm getting some comments here. I would love to come and work with you again. Yes. Oh no, sorry, I misread. I would love to come, but I am working again. Okay, gotcha. The first time I read it, that I would love to work with you again too. But yes, I understand. Some people are working, and yeah, exactly. Just be you. Just be you. Exactly. That's the best advice, because people are like, yeah, I want to, hang out with Tyffanie Morgan. That's right. So like, I don't know if you saw some of my socials, but I did mention on privately through my Facebook to my friends, to my over 1,000 friends. I don't know if that's private or not, but anyway, just a little bit of a joke there. But yeah, I was feeling a little low. So this last weekend, Sweet Peas, if you didn't experience Greater Napanee Pride, I'm sorry, because it was a pride. It was an amazing pride. Real Out Film Festival represented. They marched in the so it was a march, a walk on the sidewalks, like through. They went through a park. They went around down city sidewalks and stuff like that. It was really amazing. I enjoyed it. Now I'm like, what are my neighbors doing? They're like sawing into my house. What's going on? The noises. No, it was so that was on the Sunday. The Saturday night, I was part of this amazing drag show. Over 400 people were in attendance at the ice rink, which there was no ice on the rink, but it was this big entertainment space, this big venue. 15 performers, some of them who are going to be on Canada's Drag Race Season 3. Canada's Drag Race Season 3, yay! It's going to be exciting. And, oh, sure, maybe I'm supposed to keep that quiet. But you heard it here. It was just like, oh my gosh. And the evening was just so full of energy, and people were just enjoying themselves, and the atmosphere was great. It felt like a hootenanny sort of thing. Like, it really felt country, because that was kind of the theme. Everyone loved my little Anne Murray. So a lot of the young children had no idea who Anne Murray was. But anyone who did know Anne Murray, they were like, it's Anne Murray. And that was a little tip to the hat to Man Murray by Deb. You know who you are out there. You do the best Anne Murray impersonations, Deb. Deb, is it Kings? Oh gosh, I just forgot Deb's last name. Comedian, amazing, from Toronto. And we're getting some comments here. People are getting ready for Ottawa Pride, putting the plans to action, and also in Toronto with your union. Yeah, it is Pride season. It's like crazy right now. So last weekend was the first Greater Napanee Pride, and let me just say that for the first time organization, oh my goodness sakes, that was intense, crazy. Like, it was really, really well managed and thought, and everyone was so supportive. Like, I was discovering later on that at the market, on the Sunday market where they had a little market, a lot of the tables were borrowed from individuals and other organizations, like the makeup like the face painting table. Someone was like, oh, I'm just there. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. They borrowed a table from another kind of volunteer and stuff like that. I got to do drag queen reading to at the park. That was funny. That was really so holy. Holly Cow and myself, we read to children. It was a really great experience. They enjoyed themselves. I think the adults enjoyed themselves too because you they can hear from far away. But it was different because I've done drag queen story time here in Kingston, and let me tell you, Soupies, just between the two of us, most of the time it's like 20 adults and like two children. It's like 20 adults and two children at drag story time. But here in Napanee, it was like 40 kids and like a couple adults on the peripheral sort of thing. So I was like, oh, I'm actually reading to children this time around. Um, oh, yes, because Gananoque, Thousand Islands Pride is going to be happening in the first weekend of June, July, or something like that. Not but yeah, they're doing a contest as well. They're going to. My friend here is going to be Miss Chloe, Cleo, not Chloe. Miss Cleo is going to be in Thousand Islands pageant. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. But yeah, it's. But anyway, so after this long weekend of me, doing the Saturday night show with like over 400 people, oh, and my outfit, by the way, my outfit that I designed, it was a big old flower revealed, and that went off without a hitch. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. And then the Sunday, reading to children and then being in the park in the sunny, beautiful sunny park in drag. And then Sunday night doing a private event for the Smith School of Business. Monday, I was like really, I was spent. I was physically spent. I was emotionally spent. And come Tuesday, I was still emotionally spent. Like I was rested physically. But by Tuesday, I was feeling very, well, not very low, but I was feeling low. It was, one of those moments. Uh, I think everyone experiences this. Like, it was difficult to get out of bed. That's pretty much your first indication in the morning when I know I have to go to work, but I don't want to leave my bed. That is a first indication of feeling low, but also not wanting to socialize with people. Not like I had a business phone call to do, and which normally would have been us, mostly doing the business and then chatting afterwards, like just because it's about building relationships with your coworkers, really. Like that's always the big thing, and maintaining those relationships is having conversations. But once the business was done, I was like, okay, goodbye. Sort of thing. Those are some signs that you're like, okay. So I have tricks up my sleeve that normally get me into a good mood. One of them is, for some reason, vanilla. Something about vanilla puts me in a good mood. I don't really understand it, but the flavor of vanilla, for some reason, it gets me in a good mood. But also, Mary Brown's taters. Mary Brown's taters. I don't really understand it. But a box of taters from Mary Brown. Actually, maybe it could be any taters now that I say that. But taters get me in a good mood. So I had that Tuesday or Monday night. It wasn't working. It wasn't working, Sweepies. I was like, what's going on here? Like, none of the tricks that I normally do work. So I put it onto my Facebook in my privates for my friends, and I was like, what gets you into a good mood? And it was interesting. Some people, like, they were all over the place, but there was a lot of common threads. One of them was taking a walk. Some of them were like, well, it has to be a hike in the country or in the woods for me or something, or just a walk, which I did do, which I think did help some. I think it did help some. Taking a walk. Another one was having a drink. alcohol. I would not suggest that. I think I would suggest if you're like, oh, well, let's just have a glass of bubbly. And I did have a glass of bubbly last night when we were filming. Me and Rowena were filming and recording Once the Maple Tea, which is our lovely little podcast, live broadcast podcast, where we talk about RuPaul's Drag Race and drag in general. We talked about Napanee Pride. We talk about that. We talk about a lot of things. But I think it's not the alcohol. Don't go to alcohol. I don't think that's a really good medicine for mental health. But, you know, the socializing. I think because Rowena came over, socialized with me before we filmed, we had a glass of bubbly. I think I think that was helped immensely as well. Uh, and I want to give a huge shout out to two very important people right now because they randomly knocked on my door and handed me a gift basket. Like I was like, "Oh, Shar, thank you so much." And your sister, who I'm forgetting the names right now, but Shar and your sister, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like the card, there was a card. It was like it really, it it hit my heart. I'm stumbling on the words right now, but it definitely touched me. Thank you so much for the card. There was a little bitty bottle of bubbly, which was great too, and chocolates and charcuterie and fuzzy peaches, the candies, and yeah, just that act in itself. Not necessarily the items that were in there, but just the act in itself. Because she's like, well, you give us so much joy. That was in the card. They're like, you give us so much joy, and we just wanted to give a little bit back to you. And yeah, that was really that felt really really good. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. There are a lot of people just giving well wishes and stuff like that. That's really good. Um, uh, oh goodness sakes. Yeah, meditation was another common thread there too. Spa was another mention as well, but I don't. I'm like random people like massaging my face. I don't know if I like. I don't know if I like that. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But you are listening to Breakfast with Tyffanie with me, Miss Tyffanie Morgan, drag queen gardener extraordinaire here in Kingston, Ontario, Canada, the home of limestone and home to me, Miss Tyffanie Morgan. I know I say that all the time. But I'm going to take a little sip here. What's going on with you, sweet peas? So, it's been crazy. I don't know about you, wherever you are in the world, but in Kingston, it's been crazy, like rain. There's been a lot of rain. We had warnings of up to 5 centimeters. Like that. That was surprising. There was a warning by Weather Canada or whatever it is, Environment Canada, that we could experience 5 centimeters of total accumulation in like 24 hours. I don't think we got that because if we did, I'm pretty sure I would be swimming in my basement right now. But it was there has been a lot of rain. The season has been a bit odd. It's been a bit odd for us gardeners. So focusing on gardening, it's been a bit odd for us gardeners because it's been a very wet kind of spring, which is great, which is really, really great because that means everything's going to grow lusciously. You're going to get some really lush growth going on. For instance, in my garden, my ferns, they're kind of like, we call them fiddleheads here. They're like a shuttlecock kind of fern. And normally by this time, if not weeks earlier, the fronds would have, so when they grow pretty straight upwards, the fronds, the leaves. And then they relax, and they start coming down a little bit. And I haven't seen them relaxing yet because that means they're still growing. That means they're getting a lot of moisture. They're just like, woo, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. They're already up to my chest. So that's, I don't know, like 4 feet. But they haven't relaxed yet. They haven't started kind of falling down, which you normally would get. And normally that would happen when my allium blooms amongst it. This purple sensation allium blooms when the fronds start kind of falling down. So it's a nice combination. But the fronds didn't fall down. The alliums were amongst the leaves. It was a bit of an odd kind of combination this year, but most years it's a very lovely oh, I love the combination of my alliums with the ferns, and the ferns help to cover up the allium leaves because the leaves on the allium, when they start blooming, they start sucking the energy from the leaves in order to push that spike up. And it's a very tall spike, so no wonder they're just putting all their energy into that flower spike because they want to produce seed and repropagate. Just spread that seed around, sort of thing. So when those leaves start browning, you're like, oh, that doesn't really look that good. But if they're planted amongst the ferns, which I have, you don't see it. You don't see it. A little tip from me. A little tip from Tyffanie. My one true garden design that I've designed myself. But yeah, so things are still growing quickly, still growing strong. Also, with this increased water that we're getting, there's a lot of moisture, and that is affecting some plants out there from fungal diseases. With the increased moisture, that's really great for fungal diseases, other kind of bacterial diseases and stuff like that out there. So I hear that some people are already getting the powdery mildew. I was like, what was that word? Powdery mildew on some of their vegetables, for instance. So some vegetables out there do tend to get powdery mildew. Some of your cucurbits, so like your zucchini for one, your pumpkin, your cucumber, those sort of things, you may just keep an eye out for the powdery mildew. Things that you can do to help kind of organically kind of control that is when you do water, make sure you're not watering the leaves. You water on the soil around the plant, sort of thing. That will help control powdery mildew. Also, try growing varieties that are fairly resistant to powdery mildew as well. That's pretty handy. I've seen some zucchinis out there that are have a good resistance to powdery mildew. What it means, though, it means it could get powdery mildew, but it won't affect the growth and the zucchinis and stuff like that. So it's more affecting the leaves, which then also affects the plant and then the fruits and stuff like that. So keep an eye out for those kind of crazy little fungal diseases. Apparently some tree species out there. I was listening to my friend Carson Arthur, who I have the tomato growing contest with, and he's noticed quite a few tree fungal kind of diseases out there. So if you don't know what it is, take a photo, share it on Gardening Ontario, Kingston Horticultural Society. They have a lot, or Thousand Islands Master Gardeners, for instance. They know what these kind of fungal diseases are, and they would give you some tips as well on how to treat those fungal diseases. If you want to share it with me too, feel free to. I may know what it is. I may know what it is. Someone did share cedar rust, cedar apple blossom rust, which is a very interesting fungal disease which affects cedars and then it bounces over to apple trees. So that's why a lot of apple orchards do try to get rid of the cedars around the orchards, because there is that kind of. It's a very interesting fungus because most funguses they focus on one plant or one species or something like that. But this has a interesting life cycle bouncing between cedar to apple and vice versa, sort of thing. So it's interesting. It's interesting. But yeah, upcoming shows. And yeah, tomatoes. How are your tomatoes growing? Mine are doing okay. In the greenhouse, one of them has some flowers. I'm gonna have to go and see. So pollination for most tomatoes are really just cross pollination with themselves, and can be just like falling pollen from one flower on one tier down to the next tier, sort of thing. So we'll have to do we'll have to double check that pollination and make sure that happens, because if we don't get pollination, you don't get fruit. But upcoming shows. I want to talk about upcoming shows here in Kingston, particularly this week, because there's so many shows going on. There's so so many shows going. I can barely even keep up with it myself. Actually, there's some shows that I haven't even posted on dragshow.ca yet. Dragshow.ca, your source for drag shows in and around Kingston. So tonight, Thursday, June the 9th, there is a flamboyance of drag, and that's going to be at Daft Brewing on Princess Street, 768 Princess Street, and that starts at 7:30 to 9:30. There's no tickets. Oh wait, there are tickets. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite. Go to dragshow.ca, and I have links for that as well. Adriana, the Bombshell Drag Show, is happening in Kingston on Friday, June the 10th. Again, get your tickets online. That's going to be at 4 Points starting at 7 p.m. Then in Brockville, there's the annual drag competition where Miss Cleo is going to be running for that. On the 11th, there's Drag at the Disco. Of course, I'll be there. And this is at Spearhead Brewing, 675 Development Drive. And again, yeah, you can get tickets. This is going to be on their patio as well, as long as it's not raining. $20 cash only at Spearhead, and you can make reservations through their email account there as well. Hopefully I didn't put the wrong email address in there. Also on June 11th, if you're in Gananoque area, Dare de la Femme is having a Royal Variety Show at Gananoque at the Royal Theatre, and that starts at 7 p.m. as well on June the 11th. And then, did I mention Tyffany's Secret Tea Party on Sunday, June the 12th, starting at 1 o'clock to 4 p.m. So that's staggered seating. So if you want to come you're like, well, I want to go to this thing and I'm not available until 2, you can reserve for 2. If you want to reserve for 2:30, reserve, whatever, just call the Secret Garden Inn by Argyle Place at 613-548-1081. Again, that's 613-548-1081 for high tea, Tyffany's Secret Tea Party on Sunday, June the 12th from 1 to 4. Hangover Brunch at Stone City Ales is on June 12th, and that starts early at 11:30 till 2:30. You never know. Have tea afterwards. And then, of course, the next weekend, it is the official Pride weekend. So there's Out on the Queen Boat Cruise on July 18th. Get your tickets online. Brunch on July 19th. Sorry, I'm saying July. I meant June. June 18th is Kingston Pride, Out on the Queen Boat Cruise, and June 19th. And yeah, lots of shows, lots of things popping up. So go to dragshow.ca, your source for all the drag shows, or outin.ca as well, for all the fun stuff. All the other events that are happening that are not drag queen related, outin.ca. That's right. But sweepies, I gotta go. So I give you my love. Mwah. You stay safe now. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month.